Hi friends, Roger that here, bringing you a brand new video. Now, this isn't your typical video, so if you don't want to hear me ramble, please go to the timestamps down below. Let's begin. So, in this video, I'm showcasing 3 guns that I think are very underrated, very viable, but also very fun. Now, these guns you don't see typically, you don't see them used often, and so I thought I'd try to give them their flowers. Now, are these guns the best? No, they're not. They're really not. I'm just gonna say it out there, these guns are not the best, but I think I build them to a point where they are pretty viable. Now, are they fun? Yes, they are very fun. And these guns, honestly, they are pretty strong. They're pretty strong in their own ways. And guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. The support has been so unreal the last month and a half. Y'all are killing it. We are approaching 250 subs, halfway to our goal of 500. Without further ado, here is the first gun. Oh. 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 And so to kick off our list for what I believe are the most underrated guns in all of Delta Force, at number 1, I went with the Mini Uzi. A very iconic gun, a gun that you've probably seen used in other video games, that you don't see all too often in Delta Force though. This gun I say is underrated just because it's not used to the high frequency of all the other SMGs such as the SMG-45, the Vector, the MP7, the Bison. I think this gun is just outclassed by all those other SMGs, to be honest. But does that mean that the Mini Uzi is not viable? I actually think it's a pretty viable gun. Where it shines, I think, is its stability and its recoil control. You're able to pick people off from the close to mid easily, but you're also able to beam from far as well, at least with the build I created. Where I think it very much falls flat on is its high rate of fire and its low capacity of 45 bullets. Because of those two things, you burn through your magazines very easily. So for example, with my playstyle, I like to flank. I like to kill lots of people all at once, but if I have an RPM of 780 with a mag of 45, I'm going to burn through my magazine very easily, and it'll be harder for me to get those multi-kills. But does that mean it's a bad gun? I don't think it's a bad gun. I think it's a very fun gun, and with my build, it has a lot of ADS movement speed and a lot of stability. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let me know what you think. So for the Uzi, I played with a lot of different attachments, and this is what I found worked best for me. So let's start off with our foregrip. I chose the folding grip just because it gave a little bit of handling and a lot more stability. For the handguard, obviously the Uzi rail handguard, just because the performance handguard took away attachments and you had to use this. Although I did like it, I wanted a little more handling, so that's why I went with the rail handguard. For the muzzle, I went with the Bastion horizontal compensator. I also liked using the spiral fire flash hider, but honestly I think with this it just gave a little more control, and that's what I preferred. For the barrel, I chose the competition performance long barrel, and I think this is very essential, especially if you're gonna go toe-to-toe with people at a distance. For the rail, of course, the laser. For the other rail, nothing else was available, so I didn't put anything. For the optic, I went with the panoramic red dot sight, a good old reliable. And for the stock, I chose the Elite Light stock. I just liked having ADS movement speed. I think it made me more slippery and stuff when going toe-to-toe with people, especially since I didn't have a lot of handling as seen here with the 54. So what I would do is I would ADS and like move around corners and peek and stuff, and I would really utilize the ADS movement speed with it. And finally, for the mag, I went with the 45 round mag. I think it's just essential compared to the 35, where the 45 I was able to get 5-man sprays literally, as you'll see or did see in the highlights. So let's move on to our calibrations. For the barrel, I brought the weight all the way left and the length all the way to the left, so that way I can maximize my ADS speed and ADS movement. For the foregrip, I brought the placement all the way to the left for extra ADS speed, and the thickness all the way to the left for extra ADS movement speed, again to maximize my movement. For the optic, obviously all the way to the left, just personal preference, you can do whatever you want. I liked, when I was using the zoom, I preferred 0.1, but to each their own. And for the stock, I brought the weight all the way to the right and the placement all the way to the left, just so I'd have a little more control and obviously that extra ADS speed, since we're lacking handling in this. Oh, the M1014. Now, this shotgun in Delta Force is kind of like the middle child of the shotgun. Since there are three, you know, a lot of attention is put on the M870. A lot of attention is definitely put on the SK12. Let me tell you, that gun rips. It destroys people like crazy, especially in large crowds. And the M1014 is the one that's pretty much neglected. You know, you don't really see people using this. So as a result, I think that it's very underrated because, yeah, a lot of people don't use it. Yeah, it's more underwhelming compared to the other shotguns where the M870, you're able to one pump people. The SK12, you're able to literally obliterate 20 people at once. But the M1014, I think, can hold on its own. It can definitely rip people, but obviously not every scenario it would be the most ideal shotgun. But I still have a lot of fun with this thing. It does one-shot people up to a certain range. It can kill multiple targets if they're clumped up together. So as you can tell, there's a lot more, there's not as many positives compared to the other shotguns, but again, this shotgun, you have to play it a different style compared to all the other ones. You have to go in, you have to go out, you gotta smoke. I think Stinger is like the most effective character with this shotgun. So yeah, honestly, I still have a lot of fun with it. So please give it a try. Here's the build. So for my M1014 class, let's start off with the muzzle. I chose the shotgun vortex choke. I think this is just the best choke overall for shotguns, but also I love using the echo suppressor. So however you want to play it, if you want to be sneaky, use the echo suppressor. If you want a little more pack a punch, use the vortex choke. But honestly, both are really good. Can't go wrong with any of them. The barrel, obviously the breakpoint barrel. For the rails, I chose the Hornet handguard panels just for extra accuracy. For my optic, I chose a multi-purpose tactical riser just so I can have a laser and an optic, but mostly so that way I don't use up a laser for my rails, as you can see. For my handguard, I chose the rail handguard, obviously the only one. For the mag, this is very essential. I think this is what makes the shotgun class the speed reloader. If you don't have this unlocked, get that thing unlocked. This thing makes such a huge difference, gets you back in a fight right away. For the stock, I went with the 1014 collapsible stock. I chose this one just because it gave you a lot more handling and a little more accuracy compared to the other one where the fixed stock gives you max control, but it only gives you extra handling and no accuracy, and the accuracy on this gun can only go up to 80, so that's why I went with this. And for the foregrip, I went with the competition hand stop just because it gives you that extra accuracy, because you know you'll be using this gun mostly with its hip fire, so that's why I thought it was very essential. So let's move on to our calibrations. So for the barrel, I brought the weight all the way to the left for extra ADS movement speed, and the length all the way to the right for muzzle velocity. That way I can get people at a further range. For the foregrip, I brought the thickness all the way to the left for extra ADS movement speed, and the weight all the way to the left for extra ADS speed. The ADS, shooting this gun with ADS is very good because the pellets are a lot more tighter. I don't really do it. I should have, but as you'll see in the highlights, I mostly use the hipfire, but when I did use the ADS, it really helped me out, especially at those longer ranges. For the optic riser, zoom and eye relief all the way to the left. And for the stock, I brought the weight all the way to the right for extra control and the thickness all the way to the left for extra aim, hipfire aim speed. So that way, in case they are farther, I can easily ADS and put as many bullets as I can into them, hoping that I would kill them, especially because, you know, this gun isn't so great at the medium to long range especially, but at the close range, again, this is a beast. And last but not least, the final gun on this list is the AKS-74 Assault Rifle. Now, this gun is not as good as it was on the beta. No, however, I think it's still very fun. It still holds up on its own. It's still able to do a lot of damage, and it's still able to kill people at range. But, of course, with there being an M4 and a CI-19 as an assault, it's kind of hard for you to want to use this gun, right? But, despite that, I like using this gun a lot, and I think the way to approach this gun is to not use it as an AR. You can, but I think it's most effective from the close to mid-range. Even though it has a fire rate of 500 RPM, it's not as fast as all the other SMGs, but it's very effective, especially with this build. I have a very good movement speed on it, so because of that, I'm able to kill people and move at the same time while ADSing. At not only at the close range, but also at the medium ranges. With this gun and this build, you're able to move and shoot your enemies accurately. This gun has very good stability, so while you're moving, you won't be missing as much. As long as you center your shot, as long as you track your enemies very well, you won't be missing your shots. So anyways, here's the build. And last but not least, the AKS-74 Assault Rifle. Okay, so for this build, let's start off with our foregrip. So I went with the angled combat grip just because it gave me that extra vertical and horizontal recoil. I just found it gave me a good balance, so that way I'm able to control my gun much better. For the handguard, the only handguard, the lower rail handguard, gives you a little of everything, so please put this on. For the muzzle, I was torn with this, but ultimately I went with the Russian suppressor. Now, I was using this, I was using the vertical compensator, I was using the Braveheart suppressor, I was using the Bastion horizontal compensator. And ultimately, I went with this one. It was between this and the Braveheart suppressor. I was very torn just because I love the stability with the Braveheart suppressor, but this Russian suppressor manages the horizontal recoil so well. I think it was the best choice for me and for this build in general. For the rail, pick any laser you'd like. There are no extra slots for patches, so just choose whatever laser or flashlight you want, but personally went with the purple because I like purple. For the upper handguard, please put it on as well. It gives you extra slots and boosts a bunch of stats. For my charging handle, I went with the only one, the handle cap for extra handling. For optic, panoramic red dot sight, can't go wrong with it. For the stock, now this build I felt like was lacking in a lot of handling, so that's why I chose the skeleton sniper stock, just so I can maximize as much handling as possible. In addition, have a little more stability. The stability is really great with this gun, and so having that is really beneficial. Even though it takes away from control and accuracy, the stability really makes up for it. For the rear grip, I went with the AK Heavy Tower Grip, just so I'd have a little more of each stat. For the grip mount, the balanced grip base, of course, again for each stat. And finally, the mag, I went with the 45. The 75 was really good too, but took away a lot of handling, and that really killed it for me. So it made it really tough to win close range encounters, and even to just flank, it felt like I was a little more heavier. So that's why I went with the 45. 45 is good balance, a little more than 30 and a lot less than 75, but you can still get a lot of kills with this. And of course, the Badger small assist mag, pick whichever one you like for extra handling. All right, so now let's go to the calibrations. So we'll start off with our foregrip. I brought the placement all the way to the right for extra control and the thickness all the way to the left for extra ADS movement speed. This gun has a lot of good stability on it, so moving with this thing and moving and shooting is not a problem, as long as you just hit your shots. Optic, obviously, all the way to the left. Personal preference again. Rear grip. I brought the weight all the way to the right for extra control, and the thickness all the way to the right for extra stability when moving, especially because I already have the increased movement speed, ADS movement speed with the grip. And finally, for the stock, I brought the weight all the way to the right for extra control, and the cheek pad all the way to the left for extra ADS movement speed. Now, the movement speed is really good on this thing. You're still able to hit people very accurately while moving at a good amount of speed, and you'll see that in the highlights where I literally get a quad spray while moving side to side. Pretty crazy. So that concludes the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I know this is a little bit different from what you guys are used to seeing from this channel, but I hope you guys enjoy as much as I enjoy making it for you. So also, if you guys want to see me use your builds, please drop the codes down below. I would love to use whatever horrible builds you want to see me suffer with, and I would love to use whatever amazing builds you guys are using and own with it. So please don't be afraid to comment down below. That concludes the end of this video, so eat some good food, drink some good drinks, love yourself and love those around you, and as always, later.